Okay, thank you very much. This story is called Haunting Words to Inspire Every Teacher. And I wrote this. This was actually the very first education blog I wrote. And I tweaked it for tonight. And I hope you enjoy the story. Back in the day when I had no what was really required to be a good teacher, back when I was a grad student and expected education theory to equal education practice, back when I believed that better class management was a matter of finding the right behavior chart or incentive program, I stumbled upon a conversation in the teacher's lounge that would change my life. I had recently fled, yes, I said it, fled an elementary school on the west side of Chicago. My year of student teaching had begun in a staff meeting in which the principal told us that she hired us because we were physically attractive and that she loved the green stuff, gesturing money with her fingertips, and thus would have no problem firing any of us to save her job. She frequently used the school's PA system to enforce her tyranny. Once she announced basketball tryouts and bluntly told students, "Don't sign up if you can't play. I like to win." This is a true story. I was assigned to a mentor teacher who passed out worksheets all day and once responded to an insult from a student by saying, "You talking about your mama." Some days I felt more like a bouncer than a pre-service teacher because I had to break up fights and shout at the top of my lungs, "Everybody, would you please be quiet?" I knew that if I were to gain any positive teaching tools, I'd have to go to another school. So after 6 months, I fled. The split was so messy that the teacher and the administration refused to let me say goodbye to my own students. I ended up finishing my training at a neighborhood school on a different side of town. That's when I stumbled in on the career-altering conversation in the teacher's lounge. The chatter was animated. A group of teachers were reminiscing about their classroom horror stories. John dashed out of the classroom, threatened to jump out of the window again. Angel knocked over bookshelves in a fit of rage. And in my desire to fit in and one up the last tale, I began to share about my unbelievable dysfunction at my old school. Even though I hadn't yet earned my teaching certificate, I felt I had earned some stripes. I was persevering to educate this lost generation of adolescent youth despite the pervasive insanity within the urban public school system. I was the heroine, fearless and unafraid. It happened to them were the 4 words that shut me and the other teachers up. What? It happened to them, not you. You tell the stories like it's some kind of entertainment, but it happened to them, the kids. They're the ones who 30 years from now will remember these stories with tears in their eyes. It was the middle school social studies teacher. He was a demure white man in his late 30s who wore cardigans, much like Mr. Rogers. Until then, he had kept silent, even as each story gave rise to a higher level of ridiculousness. This teacher went on to explain that he, too, used to complain and feel like a victim until another teacher rebuked him with those words. Now he felt compelled to pass that wisdom on to me. It happened to them. This truth has haunted me for the past 12 years I've been teaching. I am only glad that I got set straight early in my teaching career. Some teachers never seem to get it. You know this when their debates about education are centered on what's in their best interest and not in what's in the student's best interest. And no one entity, not CPS, not the teachers union, not one charter school provider, no political party, is immune to the temptation of this selfishness. Neither am I. Disrespectful students drive me nuts, but they're the ones that's hurting and will suffer a lifetime of hurt if they are still angry. It happened to them. The lack of parent involvement that turns me into an overworked teacher, mama, daddy, babysitter, social worker. But really, it happened to them. I cried in 2008 when my principal fired me for standing up for what was right. I looked him in the eye and I told him, these tears, they're not for my job, because most days you make me want to quit. These tears are for the low-income, underprivileged African-American students in Inglewood who just lost a dedicated, high-quality teacher. I'm not the protagonist. I'm not the hero. As a teacher, I'm a supporting actor. Everything that happens in a school happens to them. I have 3 children, 2 of whom attend the school where I work, and I am all the more aware that whatever it is in a school, good or bad, is happening to them. This truth forces me to think deeply about what I believe and gives me the courage to advocate for it. I strive to be like that social studies teacher. He dared to change the narrative, even in the teacher's lounge. He may not have changed the world, but he changed me. Perhaps there's a discouraged teacher in this room who could use some changing too. After all, you are happening to them.